Hello and welcome to the Fantasy Football Fix Christmas edition. I am Richard from the Dipsy Dudes and I am here to go through the players and teams that you should be considering over game weeks 17, 18, 19 and 20, the Christmas period. Now these game weeks come 4 game weeks in 12 days, so it's going to be some hardcore fantasy football playing to be had. So you've got to be prepared. That's why I am here and... sounds like a knock at the door. Who could it be? Who could this be? It's only my Dipsy Dude cohorts. It's Adam and Rob. What brings you guys here?
Hello. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you as well. Hello to you as well. Are you here to help me with the Fantasy Football Festive Fix?
Why not?
Let's talk some fantasy football, shall we?
Yeah.
Hobnobs? Right, we're all settled in. Adam's had a sip of drink, so he'll be burping in the next 30 seconds. There it is. Right, so we've got games weeks 17 to 20. 4 game weeks in 12 days. Who are we going for?
I think that we need to lump on Manchester.
It's all about Manchester, particularly the first 2 weeks of the festive season.
Alright, which Manchester? Both Manchesters?
Both.
Both. Okay. I'm liking the sound of that. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll go the lesser half first. Man City. Why Man City?
Right, so Man City, you got 3 home games. They are at home to Palace,
Yeah.
Burnley, and Sunderland.
Yeah. They've got then West Brom away game week 18 in the middle of it as well, but that's hardly the biggest challenge.
But the thing with City, personally, I think you're not looking at goal scoring because they've had 1-0s for the last couple of games.
Okay.
Aguero's not there, so they're not banging the big goals anymore.
I think he's back in week 21. He's after the FA Cup games, I think, at the moment.
So it's not going to benefit the festive season.
No.
But you're probably looking at going for some defenders for that period. They're keeping the clean sheets, and I think those teams, Palace, Burnley, Sunderland, will struggle.
Do you know what? I agree with you on this one. I can see that you've been looking into it. The one I went on, I was telling Adam about this, is Gael Clichy. The moment, he's only valued at 5.6, which is okay value. I mean, it's about average for a defender. You're looking, he's had 14 bonus points so far this season, which is the second highest bonus points total for a defender. I think he's second to Leighton Baines. But Leighton Baines is always going to get bonus points because he gets the goals. He's started 7 of the last 7 Man City games, which means he is now the starter. I know they've got who else is on the left for them again? Is there Kolarov, but he's taken Kolarov's spot now, and he's had 33 points in the last 4 games. So he's the deformed defender. He is relatively good price, 5.6. That's doable with some money management.
Doable.
It's only doable. We haven't even got to West Ham yet.
That's Harry, surely.
I always say when I do West Ham, I do my Christian Bale from The Prestige. They're gonna hang me! Tangier! They're gonna hang me! They only bloody hanged him and all. Spoiler. So, Man City defence then, and I'd say Gael Clichy unless anyone fancies anyone else.
Vincent Kompany is up and down. He's like Darren Anderson at the moment when it comes to injury. So
And he's expensive as hell.
yeah, stay off Kompany, I would. On the right side, right back, Zabaleta, not hitting the heights of last year, but you know, he's always dependable, I guess. But if you want, I agree with Richard here, and I'm going standout Man City defender, Clichy, definitely.
I'm going to throw another name at you, 2 from the midfield now. One name we briefly spoke about before we started, Frank Lampard. Frank Lampard's actually getting a goal every 73 minutes at the moment. He's in really good form. When he starts, when he plays, he's getting goals. I mean, he's got, what, 3 goals from 4 sub-appearances so far this season. He's only 5.4. What I want to ask you two is, would you do the gamble of, because he's so cheap at 5.4, rather than putting him on your bench, put him in your team, and if he doesn't play, you've then got a good bench player, like a £7 million bench player, that comes in and takes his spot? I mean, it's a gamble, but would you...
With the matches that City have got coming up, definitely.
Fancy it?
Yeah, I'd probably do that, actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
The first thing I'd say is that because Frank Lampard at 5.4 is a ridiculous price.
Yeah.
And
In a good way or a bad way?
ridiculously good.
Okay.
But because Aguero's missing, Pellegrini's going to be saying, where are my goals coming from?
Mhm.
Can't rely on Yaya too much. You know, he's good, but he's not consistent as he was last year. So I think Lampard will get a lot of minutes
Okay.
over the next 3-4 games, and I think it's worth putting him in there, at least on the bench.
And David Silva coming back as well. He had his first game last week in game week 16.
Yeah, he's 8.8 million, which is quite a lot.
Yeah. I mean, for midfielders, it's not too bad when you're looking at some of the ones like Hazard and Yaya Toure as there.
Well, as he's brought it up there, it's worth pointing out, Milner
James Miller.
is on the same amount of points as David Silva, and he's worth 5.4.
5.4.
Milner.
So would you say Milner as well for a
Well,
spot?
we know James Milner as boring James Milner, of course.
Of course.
But for 5.4 and being on the same point as David Silva at this point in the season, Milner is worth considering, I'd say.
What, just for a bench spot?
Oh, bench minimum, yeah.
Bench minimum.
With the games that Man City got coming up, though.
Just for that one then, not as a season long,
No,
but
no,
just
bring
for
him
that
in for 3 or 4, yeah.
Okay.
Why not?
What about the true side of Manchester, the red half of Manchester? What made you go there? So what's the game so far?
Well, we'll start at the back,
Yeah.
as is natural, and we'll talk about the big man first, David De Gea.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the argument is that obviously he's in fantastic form at the moment.
My keeper.
Man of the match against Liverpool, phenomenal display.
Mm-hmm.
Big points, I assume. I didn't check how many points I had. He had
6. Yeah, you would have had 8. You would have had at least 8.
He did have 8.
Yeah.
8 points, yeah. But I wouldn't say chuck him in there automatically because he's playing in front of people like Johnny Evans.
The thing is, they're away for 3 of their games. It's Villa game week 17 away. Then you got Newcastle home, Spurs away, Stoke away. So defence-wise, I would be less inclined to assume that there's going to be 4 clean sheets out of it.
No.
I think United could get 2 clean sheets out of that. And unfortunately, it's probably the first 2 games.
Yeah?
As a Newcastle fan, I do regret saying that.
Mm.
But yeah, Villa away. I think United will definitely turn Villa over away at Villa Park.
We used to back in the day.
But I checked the form stats yesterday, and United are joint with Chelsea. Sorry, Chelsea or City, I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But they're doing well.
6. We've won 6 and 6, but the way that it's going to be, you can't lump on a Man United defender, you've got to lump on a Man United attacker. And if you're looking at attackers at the moment, the form man is, well, there's the 3. It's RVP, it's Juan Mata, it's Wayne Rooney. Out of those 3, do you go for 1? Do you go for 2? What do you do?
Out of the 3, I'd probably edge towards Rooney.
Okay.
Purely because, especially when it comes to him and RVP, they play in the same position, but I'm pretty confident that RVP is about 2 million more.
Yeah, RVP at the moment you're looking about 12.6 million. Rooney is coming in at 10.5.
RVP is the perfect replacement for Aguero if you had him in your team.
Yeah.
And now he's got injured because it's the same price.
A lot of people migrated to Costa.
On the current form, I'd go with RVP.
Okay.
Yeah. He scored 4 in the last 5 games, and United have scored 12 in the last 5 games.
Yeah. And he's had 6 bonus points as well in the last 4 games. He gets a goal every 2.6 shots. Wayne Rooney also getting a goal every about 2.8 shots.
The thing is, though, with Rooney as well, though, I'm confident that he had some ridiculous stats. Something like in the last 60 games for Man United, he's been involved, either goal or assist, in about 50 of them. Something ridiculous like that. So even if he's not scoring you goals, he's getting you assists.
So at the moment he's averaging from his game so far this season a goal every other game. So could be up for at least 2 goals, Wayne Rooney, over the Christmas period, and then maybe some more.
And with that 2 million difference being cheaper than RVP, I'm thinking edge towards Rooney personally.
What about Juan Mata, 8.5, midfield? He's attacking at the moment. 5 goals in 11 appearances this season. 3 goals in 5 of his last 5 appearances. And to be honest, he's always in there giving those key passes for the assists and things like that.
The number 1 question I've got when it comes to Mata is he only in the team now and playing well now because Di Maria's injured? And as soon as Di Maria is fit, does Mata go straight back on the bench?
I mean, he's playing so well. Does he drop out that quickly?
Well, he saved my team last week from a disastrous week, so he's definitely staying in my side. And I'll probably struggle to finance bringing RVP or Rooney in, but out of the 2, probably looking for Rooney just because he's that £2.1 million cheaper.
Okay.
Yeah, it all depends on the Di Maria injury. I mean, you know more than me in terms of his injury. Is he due back anytime soon?
Well, Rob's got it all up in front of us. What have we got here?
Expected back the 20th, so this Saturday.
He should be back. He should be back for game week 17. But you got to think he's been off for 3 game weeks now.
Is he going to come in straight away?
Yeah, or is he going to be coming in back in like game week 19-20 more? When I mean come back in, I mean being the Di Maria that he should be.
Yeah.
Not just,
Sort of being match fit, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Away from the Manchester clubs, anyone else float a new boat?
The other team that's worth mentioning for me is West Ham.
Yes, I was a big advocate for the West Ham attackers because I was talking about their 3 strikers of Sacco, back the sack, love it, Andy Carroll and Enner Valencia. But you want to have a look at the man who's had a new role this season for West Ham and has flourished.
The man who's officially become the best player in the world in the last couple of weeks. Who is it, Rob?
Stuart Downing.
Stuart Downing.
Listen to the enthusiasm.
He loves it.
My little flag.
Yeah. No, Stuart Downing, I don't know what Sam's been giving him. I don't know what's going on down there, but he has been in phenomenal form. Goals, assists, it's happening every week in, week out.
Well, I would say for West Ham, they've got 2 quite easy fixtures in Leicester at home in game week 17.
Yeah.
And if you go to game week 20, they're playing West Brom at home.
Yeah.
But
Chelsea away.
Chelsea away and Arsenal at home.
Arsenal at home.
Arsenal at home.
I wouldn't write that one off. Chelsea away. Going to Stamford Bridge, I would, because that'll probably be that's the only time when Eden Hazard plays. More on that later. But out of those 3 game weeks, 2 you'd expect home wins. Arsenal, I'd say it would be a coin toss depending on which Arsenal show up. They're like the French rugby side. It's which Arsenal turn up on the day. But yeah, and you can imagine. Yeah, Carroll has been he got a goal last weekend. He's been scoring well. The good thing about the West Ham players as well, the most expensive attacker they've got is Andy Carroll, he's 6.5. So you can get any of these West Ham players for less than 7 million. So they're good budget options as well if you're looking to spend your money elsewhere.
I think Downing is the same. I think he's 6.5 or 6.9. Yeah, he's quite cheap. But he's, the thing is, what happens is that Downing is he's always had a good left foot. He's always capable of putting in a good cross, and with Carroll being back in the team, and obviously we know how good Andy Carroll is in the air, I can only see Downing's assists going up and up and up, personally.
So he's at 6.3 at the moment, but he's also got 82 points for the season.
That's ridiculous.
That's a really good return for. You wouldn't imagine that from Stuart Downing. That's like Borough Stuart Downing form.
If he was still at Liverpool, it would have taken him 4 years to get 82 points.
I don't think any of us have any comments. I've nothing prepared for Liverpool. I've not even looked at their fixtures.
I've got a comment for Liverpool.
Yeah?
Hold on, let me just read it.
Oh, he's prepared it. Hold on, this is good. Let's see how off the cuff it is.
Teams to stay away from.
There we are. So, unsurprisingly enough, Liverpool, we can all agree.
The only thing I'll say is that when Brendan Rodgers turns around, looks at his bench and says, "Who's going to save me?" and he decides it's going to be Brad Jones, that's when you know he's getting desperate.
He is ever young, though.
Brad Jones?
Yeah.
I agree, but he's not a good goalkeeper.
He keeps good care of himself. You can tell he doesn't work hard, and
How old do you know this? He's only 32 or something like that.
Yeah, but he looks 19. He looks like he should be in Union J or something.
He does feel like he's been around forever as well.
Yeah. So, I'm going to go to now one of the teams that we said West Ham are playing. That's Chelsea. Now, Chelsea have got 3 away trips. It's away to Stoke this weekend, the home game against West Ham. Then Southampton away, Spurs away. If you're talking Chelsea, the obvious ones would be Hazard and Fabregas, who's due back in now after suspension.
Yeah.
Who from Chelsea's to Gleaner Ivories? Because I know you want to have a go at Jose, especially.
Well, no, it's not kind of relevant. It's Andre Schürrle.
I'll forget it then. Rob, what is it? Have you got something that's actually relevant?
Well, Ivanovic has been in my sight since day one.
He's going for it. He is cutting you off. Yeah, that's right.
Whatever.
Fabregas has been there as well, and like I said, when he comes back from suspension, he's got to go back into your sides.
Yeah.
Well, my thing was that Fabregas was suspended. I took him out. I brought in Oscar. Oscar got an assist.
Yeah.
So now I'm kind of tempted to leave Oscar in, to be honest.
He's not too bad, Oscar. I talked about him a couple of weeks ago. When he plays, he gets points. It's just he doesn't play enough. If he was any other team, he'd get more game time, leading to the player at Chelsea that you think should get a lot more game time.
Just checking Rob's not going to cut me off.
Yeah.
Andre Schürrle. One of the best attacking, goal-scoring midfielders in Europe, had an awesome World Cup. You know, tipped as the next Frank Lampard, the German Frank Lampard, I guess. Doesn't play him.
Yeah, Franz Lampard.
Hey!
So Schürrle in the last 3 game weeks has got 1 point. None from the match against Tottenham, none for the match against Newcastle.
Doesn't play.
One for playing 11 minutes against Hull.
Yeah. But he's a type of player similar to Mata. You could see him go into a different top club and doing really, really well.
Yeah,
but
he's the kind of attacking player that you were saying Jose Mourinho doesn't fancy him because it's like, how much backtracking and defending are you going to do? Well, I was going to do a bit of attacking. No. Yeah. Only 2 wingers and my striker can attack.
Yeah.
Well, I see myself as attacking midfielder. Oh, what? Well, I'm sorry, I understand the 2 individual words, but I don't understand them together.
I don't see how they relate to you.
Yeah, I've really been working on my Jose Mourinho impression, as you can see. So, Oscar then as a possible wildcard shout.
In terms of, do you bring Fabregas back in or do you go with Oscar? It's up to you. They're both good options for me.
I will say one thing for Hazard. Last week I pointed out that Hazard only does well in even-numbered game weeks, which he did. He scored, but then it's home games. He doesn't score points away from home. He only scores them at home. He's scored 6 goals this season, and they've come in 8 home appearances. If they're playing away 3 times, I don't fancy none of that action. I'm sorry.
No, but that's the thing. You can take Hazard out, and you can bring Oscar in for less.
2 million less.
Exactly.
2 million. Arrested Development reference, or whatever. Alright, anyone else tickling you? You wanted the other team that you had on your go nowhere near, which was...
It was Swansea, because they were away for 3 games.
Who they got?
Hold on a second.
Oh, here we go. This is where we
Too many tabs and...
So I'll ask you, because we were talking... Another one we were talking about... Oh, right, okay.
So Swans are away to Hull. Then, in game week 18, they're at home to Villa.
Mm-hmm.
Then they're away to Liverpool.
Home to Villa and away to Liverpool. Surely Wilfred Boney's just going to have his way with the Liverpool defence.
You think, yeah.
And then Mario Balotelli will be, Ashley Williams, Jez Richards.
And then they're away to QPR as well. So on paper, you should fancy Swansea to do quite well against those clubs.
But you're not fancying it?
No, I just think they'll go ahead and then end up losing.
Okay.
Which we keep seeing over and over. But Boney will score those goals when they go ahead.
That's what I was going to say. Away from Boney and Sigurdsson, is there anyone in the Swans team worth having?
No. I mean, last season you'd lump on Ashley Williams and
he was okay
and the
in
goalkeeper
defence
because they had so many clean sheets.
Yeah, I mean, Fabianski's done quite well. Nathan Dyer had a good start to the season. I mean, like the first handful of games, but that's
faded a bit.
Wayne Routledge you suggested, and then I said, well, is Wayne Routledge playing well in football, or is he playing well in fantasy football? Because you can do one and not the other, and you can do both. And I think he might be playing well on the pitch, but he ain't playing well for points.
Wayne Routledge is like the slow version of Eden Hazard. He does well at home for Swansea, but in the away games, from what I'm aware, so here we go. Home to QPR, 8 points. Away to West Ham, 1 point.
Yeah.
So if Swansea had more home games over the next 4, I'd think about putting him in, but not for away games.
What about your guys' team, Newcastle? Newcastle are, again, a team who've got 3 home games. Tyne-Wear Derby this weekend, and then away to Man United. Game week 19, home to Everton. Game week 20, home to Burnley. 3 home games.
I'm a bit concerned about the derby to start with, purely because...
Stay away from derby games, that's always my advice.
Yeah, red cards are plenty, but also the fact that we've got Spurs in the League Cup before we play that match.
Yeah.
So Sunderland will have the legs on us. And also, Gus Poyet has a knack of beating us.
What about, Cisse at the moment seems to be the player that people are dabbling on. Are you saying to get off Cisse for those 4 games?
It's only because Cisse, believe it or not, is not a guaranteed 90-minute player.
Yeah.
Because of his knee injury.
Yeah.
You can't guarantee he's going to play. You know, he's playing well, he's got goals, but...
He got 55 minutes last week.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously no goals, but the week before against Chelsea, in the Chelsea game, he got 12 points.
Yeah.
And 9 against Burnley.
Yeah.
Which Newcastle lost against Burnley, didn't they?
Yes.
1-1.
No, 1-1,
Yeah, he got the equaliser, yeah. To be honest, if I'm going to go with the Newcastle forward, I'd be much more inclined to go with Jose Perez.
Yeah.
Purely because he's $1 million cheaper, and even in the games where Pardew hasn't played him up front, he's played him out on the wing, or as like a right-sided attacker, and he scored past Arsenal on the weekend. So if I'm picking between the two, I'm going to pick the one who's guaranteed to play, and that's Jose. The two things I'll mention about Newcastle before we move away from them is that I wouldn't back us defensively.
No.
Purely because our first two choice keepers are injured.
Yeah.
We're relying on third choice 21-year-old Jack Anik,
Anik,
who seems like a decent keeper, but he's not going to be filling the defence full of confidence. So I'm not seeing a lot of clean sheets for us, unfortunately. But somebody I will back, who I don't think has been mentioned on the Fantasy Football Fix of the season so far.
Okay. If you say Jan, Matt, I'm going to slap him because I've mentioned him at least 3 times.
Just get ready.
Yeah, it's not. It's actually a player who you always used to put on your bench in previous seasons when he was at Sunderland.
Callback.
Jack Colback, yeah, because he was just cheap. Yeah.
Jack Colback is very cheap. He's 4.8 million, and Jack Colback takes all of our set pieces.
Yeah, but you don't score from set pieces.
No, but he gets assists. If you look at him, he gets assists regularly.
Yeah, I used to have him.
He had an assist in the last match.
Alright, but
because he takes our set pieces. He takes our corners, our free kicks, everything. He's got a good left foot in him.
So Jack Colback for the bench.
For a bench option, 4.8 million, you could do worse. I wouldn't back our defenders because we've got an inexperienced keeper. I wouldn't back our attackers because they're hot and cold. Jack Colback is our safe option.
Okay. Right. Everton. Over the game weeks, they've got 3 away games. They're away to Southampton, game week 17, Stoke home, Arsenal away, Hull away. I mean, Lukaku, he is doing quite well at the moment. He was 6 goals. Did he score on Monday night?
Did he score?
No. Did he score against QPR? No, so he's on 6 goals for the season. But someone did score. Ross Barkley. What do you think?
Comeback kid.
Yes. What do you think? Ross Barkley.
I think for his valuation, which Rob will bring up now, I believe is around the 7 million mark.
I think he's 6.8.
6.8. I think for that price, you've got to look at him.
Because I was writing my notes for this just before the Everton QPR game was on. I saw the team sheet coming through, and I was like, "Oh, Ross Barkley's on it." Do you know, I noticed he'd made his comeback, and then I was thinking, God, I remember when I picked my team before game week 1, my original team had Ross Barkley in it because he was just coming off the World Cup. There was a load of hype about him. He was only 7 million. He'd come off a good season from last year. I was like, he's going to be the bargain player. I think I even wrote the first Fantasy Football Fix with his name in it, saying he's a bargain player to get a new team.
Yeah.
Because he was selected by like 15-20% of managers because of the price on him. Then he got injured. Everyone went off him. Do you think he's someone who can come in and have a good second half of the season?
I think that goal against QPR will give him a lot of confidence.
As good as it was deflected. All I keep seeing is, it was a stunner. And it was a good run and a good shot, but it was deflected to get in that top corner.
He'll get confidence off it. It's a Ross Barkley goal.
Okay.
So he'll get confidence off it. I think he's definitely worth considering. I think he will be on an upward spiral. The way I'm looking at it, and I'll put you both on the spot here.
Okay.
What's happening with the Europa League? Is that on a break for a little while?
Yeah, they're back in February for the Europa League.
Because what you see here now is Everton have stopped playing Europa League football and their Premier League form is getting better.
Okay, you think it's go that way?
I think, it has an effect, as we saw with Swansea last year. Well, we saw with Newcastle the season before. Europa League fucks up teams. So I would say...
Because you guys had your big push in form was in January, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's when, yeah. And then it stopped.
Yeah. So I would completely... back an Everton sort of mini revival until the Europa League starts back up.
Right, Lukaku at the moment he's valued at what, 9?
9.1.
9.1. So would you consider 9.1 is quite dear for a striker? It's that weird price for a striker at the moment. It's like, do you know what? I'll pay 12 million for a striker. I'll pay 5 million for a striker, but 8 to 9 million is just you're in this awkward thing. That means if I have one 8 to 9 million pound player, suddenly my entire team just becomes made up of 8 to 9.
If we're going to talk 8 to 9 million pound strikers, I would pick Boney over Lukaku every day.
Yeah,
personally, despite Swansea's tough fixtures, I would pick Boney over Lukaku every day.
Still scores.
More consistent.
Scores regardless,
More
yeah.
consistent.
They played poorly against West Ham, he still scored. It was a bloody lovely finish. There weren't enough people talking about how good that finish was. Because it was just a side footer. But you're like, man, he opened his foot out and knew exactly where he was putting it.
When he goes to the African Cup of Nations, Swansea will struggle. But
With those 3 fixtures then, let's say Ross Barkley, with those 3 fixtures, 3 aways, 1 home, yay or nay?
I would.
You would bring him in?
I would. Yeah, I would bring him in.
Okay.
Not that I'd shag him.
Yeah.
I would.
One does not simply shag Ross Barkley. One must make love to Ross Barkley. Rob?
Yes, I would consider bringing him into my side.
I would say bare minimum watch list. But if you're going to do it, kind of act nowish and go from there. The thing is, Ross Barkley, and this is a subject I want to bring up and leads us nicely into our final subject, covering these game weeks. Ross Barkley could have a great second half to the season. Which leads us to, once game week 20 comes, the January wildcard transfer window opens. First off, you've got your wildcard. Have you played your wildcard yet?
The
standard
season. The standard one, yes.
Have you played yours?
Of course I have.
Okay. How long did it take you to play yours? About 2 weeks by the looks on your face.
No, I was a bit more patient. I think I got to
3.
sort of 7 or 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, when it comes to January wildcard, when do you play? Start, middle, finish?
Finish. It's got to be
right
finish
at the end of February.
These days, I don't know why, but I don't know if it's just for drama, but a lot of teams seem to save the big transfers for transfer deadline day.
Yeah.
So you don't use that wild card until you know who's going where.
Okay. Because we were talking as well about the fact that there'll always be someone who turns up in the second half of the season. They can be a player who's already there. They can be a player who makes that transfer and turns up out of nowhere. So we named Cisse, who we've already spoken about. Cisse came in. You put Cisse straight in your side. That was when Demba Ba was having an unbelievable first half of the season for Newcastle that year. He stopped scoring. Cisse took over and scored something like 8 goals in the second half.
I think it was 12 in 13.
12
or 13 in 13 even.
Yeah.
It was a lot. He was literally the best striker in Europe for that half a season.
I remember I stuck with Demba Ba, and by the time I decided let's go Cisse, I couldn't afford him because his price had gone up that much. Another one as well who you brought in the exact same transfer window as well, Sigurdsson, Swansea, when he came there on loan.
Oh yeah.
Again, he was another player who was just pretty much playing like he has now.
Instant.
Yeah.
Took to the Premiership like a duck to water. Same with Cisse.
Yeah.
And those are the players you got to look out for.
The last one I was going to say, Jermaine Defoe, when he turned up at Pompey, he scored at least 8-9 goals second half of that season as well then. So, the thing is, we can't sit here and say, who's going to be the fella who's going to hypothetically get transferred into the league and then do really well? When it comes to the January transfer window then, later.
Yeah, and just pure speculation, but I would say look out for a Liverpool striker. Yeah. If they want to have any sort of a good season, they've got to bring somebody fucking in. I don't know who, but have a look for whoever they bring in, because Rodgers will rush start him as soon as he signs. He'll literally be on the pitch 5 minutes later. And with the midfielders Liverpool have got, they should be scoring goals. Balotelli is not the man to do it. No. So have a look for a Liverpool striker signing in January.
Much like Lisa Simpson, Mario Balotelli is the answer to a question no one asked. I tell you a player that I thought was going to have the second half season renaissance and come in Christmas period and go crazy, Aaron Ramsey. Now he's been ruled out until January, because with Arsenal you can't have a knock and it's he's had a knock, he's out for a week. 2 days later, he's out for 6 months. What the hell happened to the 2 days? It's like, yeah, I don't know how heavy-handed the doctors are at Arsenal, but it's literally like, oh, what do you got? A little bit of a problem?
Yeah.
Oh! Sorry, he's going to need a new shoulder. And now this is going to happen to Aaron Ramsey. I thought it was going to be Aaron Ramsey, but maybe if he does get fit, second half season renaissance.
Possibly, yeah, but the player who played against Newcastle instead of Ramsey was Sandy Cazorla.
Did you fancy him more for a renaissance?
2 goals. Confidence goes up. He's more likely to be in the team because Wilshere and Ramsey are not. So, I'd keep an eye on Sandy Gazzola personally.
The only thing you can guarantee with Jack Wilshere is cards. I don't rate him. I keep being told that he's the future of English football, and I kind of go, based on what? I can't remember watching him and going, that was Jack Wilshere's show. Seen enough games where he's got slightly clipped or fouled and then gone on a foul-mouthed tirade at a referee. I've literally like, oh, he's just been clipped from behind. Awful! Ooh, no, not having that.
Yeah, he does get wound up.
So, anything else from 17 to 20 that's tickling your fancy? Anyone out there?
For me, there's one more team we should talk about.
Go on, then.
Because they had a good result on the weekend, and they do seem to be getting a bit better, and they've got a couple of home fixtures coming up.
Go on,
and for me, it's the impression you inadvertently did earlier.
Mm-hmm. Which one?
Harry!
Harry! QPR?
Yeah!
Wait!
Oi!
Wait! Harry!
Talk about January.
Not again.
Alright, so, yeah, QPR, home to West Brom game week 17, away to Arsenal. So they won't get any points there. Not because they're playing Arsenal, but because they're playing away. Then it's Crystal Palace home, Swansea home. They can't score points away from home.
No.
But at home, I'd say they're good options. Who are you fancying?
Well, this is the thing. Like you said, they've got 3 home games out of the 4. So even though they're playing away to Arsenal, and that probably won't be pretty, it's worth bringing QPR players in for those 3 home games, in my opinion. And the only player who's worth mentioning, standing out because he's back from suspension, is
Stone Cold Charlie Austin. No. Good God Almighty!
Yeah, him, yeah.
Another impression. I'm going to be honest, I'm going to mention, because he was in the Dream Team a couple of weeks ago, Leroy Fur. He's 5.5 million, he's only selected by, 0.8% of managers. He's had 2 goals in the last 3 starts, both goals are at home. Someone's got to give the ball to Charlie Austin. Charlie Austin isn't going to have immaculate conception of goals. There's a Christmas reference for you.
Very festive.
Yeah. It's not like... It's not going to just be like, and God bestowed upon him a goal, and it was in his own image. No, someone's got to give the ball to him to score a goal, and I think, why not Leroy Fur? He's the closest thing to form.
If Rob closes that window, I can see something that's shocking, that Leroy Fur is the top midfielder scorer at QPR with 53 points. The only person who's close to him is Kranker with 23. He's 30 points clear as the best midfielder QPR have got.
Nico Kranker. This isn't 2008. Good grief.
This isn't Portsmouth in 2006.
Oh, if only.
Yeah. But yeah, no, for 5.5 million and for 53 points, that's worth at least your bench.
And one last random shout, and this is a random shout, Rob Green. Bear with me, because at home this season, he's had 7 games, and he's got 3 clean sheets, which is okay for a keeper.
Yeah.
And they've had a couple of clean sheets the last game. I mean, last home game, Burnley, clean sheet. Away from home, forget about it, nothing's happening. Go on to the history here, Rob. But yeah, those 3 clean sheets in home games, and you look at it, can you get a clean sheet against West Brom, Crystal Palace or Swansea? I'd say, if you're looking at those games, if 1.5 of them should be clean sheets, so 1 or 2. West Brom, Crystal Palace.
To be honest, when it comes to that end of the pitch, the defensive end,
don't fancy nothing.
I don't fancy a goalkeeper, to be honest, but somebody who I will mention, and which will prove I watched this show, somebody you've mentioned in recent weeks, I'll mention Isla Fisher.
Isla Fisher! Thank you!
Because Mauricio Isla is, even if QPR don't get the clean sheets, he's more than capable, as we saw at Burnley home.
12 points.
12 points, he's more than capable of getting forward and getting an assist.
It's when he plays, because he's had a couple of... Because I thought about, is he worth mentioning today when I was doing my prep? And I was like, man, he didn't play that week, he didn't play that week, he didn't play that week. But when he did play, he scored good points. I mean, what is he, 4.7?
He's cheap, and when you think about where he's coming from, Juventus, he's he's got quality, and for me, if when it comes to that end of the pitch, I would lean more towards him. And then when you look at the other end of the pitch, Charlie Austin back from suspension, job done.
Yeah, Austin's got to be the only guy for me in that entire side. Sorry.
If based on those fixtures and based on how QPR are doing well, Austin, Fur, and Isla Fisher for me, 3 good options. You could feasibly have the 3 of them in your team.
Spurs, 3 home games. Burnley, then away to Leicester, home Man United, home Chelsea. I'd say back him for game week 17, 18, and then keep your fingers crossed for 19 and 20, because you can only go. There's two men that are the obvious shouts. Christian Eriksen is one, who's one of my personal favourites. I like Christian Eriksen. Always used to buy him on FIFA.
I used to get him in Football Manager, actually.
Exactly. The simplest transfer tactic in the world is to go to Ajax and buy whoever's their captain. Simple as. Why all managers don't do it, I don't know. But yeah, he's 8.1. He is in equal top form with Hazard. 3 goals, 2 assists, 9 bonus points in the last 5 games, 3 man of the matches and that. And yeah, you've got to fancy Christian Eriksen.
Well, something that ties up with what I said earlier in relation to Everton is that Spurs are also in the Europa League. Spurs also now have a break from the Europa League, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Spurs' form in the league get better. Okay. So now is the time to get on Spurs and Everton players, for me.
So another player which was in the region of the ballpark figure of Ross Barkley, I was going to mention earlier, was Chadley as well. He's only 6.5 million. Barkley was 6.8, was he?
Yeah.
And he's got 67 points for the season.
Yeah, but Chadley, I think, is going down in form, whereas Barkley is more going in the up form. So I'd say his stock's going up, and Chadley's is levelling and going down.
Yeah, for me, you can't trust the Spurs forwards.
I was going to say, Harry Kane, yay or nay?
He's a cheap option, but he's got no consistency for me.
No, two goals in 6 games.
Give him another couple of years and he might be...
Yeah. He's going to be a big thing in the next couple of years, but at the moment he's a youngster.
Yeah.
He gets the great goal every now and again because he's just showing his talent, his spark, but he needs to get his consistency, which comes with time and experience.
Yeah, I wouldn't push Spurs forwards. I wouldn't back defenders. They're not massively good for clean sheets, but like you said, Eriksen is definitely worth a pop.
Alright, well look, let's wrap this up then. I think we've pretty much covered everything. There we are, closing it up.
It's official.
Alright, we've still got to finish a bowl of cheese balls here, probably, and a bowl of Smarties, because it's Christmas, you've always got to have some knickknacks out. Thank you very much for joining us all together. Thank you. I'll be back. I don't know about these two. I don't know when these two will be back. We'll have them in at some point over the season. Have a good discussion. Because this has been great banter. It really has.
It was just banter.
It was just banter. Banter. Great banter. So I'll be back for game week 21. That's after the FA Cup fixtures. Lord knows what the playing field will look like. We might throw in a couple of fantasy football quick fixes here and there, a couple of minutes here and there, looking at the game rounds over Christmas. But as you can imagine, I plan on, eating and drinking my way through the next 2 weeks. So I don't think you need me in front of a camera going, let me tell you how you know. Yeah. Because I do that most weeks and you don't need that anymore. But thank you very much, Rob. We'll shake hands. Adam, always a pleasure, never a show. And until then, I guess from me, Richard.
Me, Rob.
And from me, Adam.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And take us out, Rob.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.